Good morning, Facebook family, YouTube. Happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. I am your girl, Stephanie A. Wynn, and I am coming to you live today for some more tips. Some more tips, more business tips, right? So, I want to give a shout out to everyone who tuned in yesterday, where I gave 3 business tips, the 3 tips we talked about yesterday, 3 reasons when customers can't afford your services or your prices, right? So today we're going to talk about 5 factors that influence the price. And so this is the topic for today. Invite your friends, tag, share. These are 5 factors that influence pricing, whether you're a product based or a service based business. These are the topics we're going to cover today. So I'm going to get right to it. Let me log into Facebook and let's see. All right. So hold on, y'all. I'm going to get right to it. Let me. All right. So we're tuned in on Facebook. So good morning. It's Wednesday. I'm so happy to be here. Again, today I'm dropping some tips today. 5 factors that influence the price, whether you're product based or service based. We're going to get right to it. I'm super excited. Let's see. All right. And go ahead and present. All right. So let's get right into today's topics. I'm not going to keep you long, but I do want to drop some good nuggets today. If you're catching this on the replay, hit hashtag replay. If I'm new to your timeline, my name is Stephanie A. Wynn. I'm an author and I am a business coach. I help people who are needing help with building their brand, their business brand, and their author brand. So let's get right into it. So, 5 factors that influence the price. We're talking about pricing. So, if you have a business, whether you're selling products or services, these tips are for you. Grab your pen, grab your paper, take notes, and let's get right to it. So, number one of the factors that influence the price is the cost of your products and services, right? So, what are the what are the costs of your products and services? Do you know that? Do you have a clear understanding of the cost? Like, what does it cost to purchase your product and or service? Like, what is it costing you, right? So this is something that I want you to really take a deep dive in and think about as you are thinking about pricing your services, right? The reason why I talk about this is because it's so vital that you know your you understand the pricing, right? You understand the cost of your products and services. A lot of us have businesses and we aren't clear on our pricing. We're just not clear on our pricing. So I definitely want to talk about this. The cost of number one, the factors, one of the factors that influence your pricing in your product or services is the cost of your products or service. Like, what is the cost, right? So let's move right along, right? Let's keep moving. Shout out to Facebook followers, our Facebook followers. I wonder, hold on, y'all. Just I'm trying to get my okay, hold on. Technical difficulties. All right. Number 2, knowing who your ideal customer and what their needs are. So if you have if you're a product, whether you're product based, service based, whatever industry you're in, you should know, and I talked about this yesterday, you should know before you start selling your products or services to someone, you should know who your ideal customers are and what their needs are, right? So, do your product or service provide a solution to someone's problem? Like, do you have a solution to someone's problem? So, ask yourself this, like, do I know who my ideal customers are and what their needs are? A lot of times we start a business, we start selling before we even find out the needs of our ideal customer. Yesterday, I shared with you, I had two customer avatar. Her name is Sam. One is a female, one is a male, one is an aspiring author, one is a business owner who's already in business, who doesn't have a brand. Neither one of them have brands. So the needs are for them is that they need to get in front of their ideal audience. And to do that, they need to create a brand. So you see how I'm clear on who the people I'm serving, what their needs are, and how to meet their needs, right? So my question to you, do you know who your ideal customer is and what their needs are? Like, do you know that? I'm just saying, I'm asking this question. If you know, put a comment in the chat. Like, tell me in the chat who your ideal customer is. Like, I want to know. Because it doesn't make sense if you have all of these business goals. I'm going to start my business. I'm going to start the business. I got my LLC. I got all these things. You have all these things in place, but you have no clue who your ideal customer is, right? You have no clue. So now is the time for you to find out who is my ideal customer and what their needs are. Like, what are their needs? This is the second factor that influences your price. The third factor that influences the price is positioning your brand in the marketplace. Like, once you know who your ideal customer is, then now you can position your brand in the marketplace. Now, if nobody knows that you exist, nobody knows to buy into what you're selling. So what do I mean by positioning your brand? I mean that you have to show up in the marketplace, wherever your audience, your ideal customer, wherever they are the most active, that's where you need to show up. Does that make sense? So like a lot of people, I can attest to this. In the beginning, I was posting everywhere on social media. I'm just trying to I'm dropping nuggets everywhere. But my audience, my ideal customer base is not all over the place, right? And so you have to find where your ideal customer are most active. And I'm going to give you some resources that you can find where your audience comes from based off of your website, people visiting your website. It's a really simple tool that's free, right? So remember, in order to position your brand in the marketplace, you must first know who your ideal customer is. Like, we'll sell to our friends and family. We think that, oh, my product and services is for everybody. It's for somebody, but it's not for everybody. So remember that, like, when you're positioning your brand in the marketplace, you need to know who your ideal customer is first before you start to put your brand in front of your audience. Does that make sense? All right. Number 4, the fourth factor that influences the price is your competitors. Like, what customers are they attracting with their pricing? What type of customers? So I'm going to take it even a little bit further. What type of customers is your competitors, are they attracting, right? With their pricing. Do you know, like, who your customers are? Do you know the type of pricing that you want to charge? Are you clear on your pricing? So a lot of times, like, competitors. So I'll give you an example. Let's look at Starbucks. Starbucks versus Dunkin' Donuts. Dunkin' Donuts is a different type of donut, right? It's a different type of coffee. It's a different type of brand. When you look at Starbucks, well, you know what you're going to get when you go to Starbucks. You're going to pay more money, right? You're going to pay more money, and you're going to get like gourmet type coffee. The coffee is going to be different, totally different. So you have to determine. You have people that say, "Oh, Dunkin' Donuts all day, Starbucks all day," right? But they're still a coffee brand. They just have their own spin. So Starbucks doesn't worry about like what Dunkin' Donuts is selling. I mean, they use them as a point of reference, but they have their own spin on it, and they put their own pricing on their products, right? Because they believe so much in their product, they can charge the premium prices for their coffee. And they can create the lines around the corner and down the street. That's just how much brand equity, and that's just how much they believe in their brand, right? They can charge the prices that they want to charge, and they deliver, right? And even if they don't deliver, let's just say, even if let's say you sit in you sit too long, then the coffee is on them, right? Or maybe you're sitting in the drive-through and it's just taking more than 5 minutes for you to get your order, then maybe they comp you on it, right? You don't have to pay for it. It's on them. But again, they believe so much in their brand that they can charge the premium prices for their coffee. Does that make sense? All right. So, shout out to my Facebook listen. Let's go to number 5. Tip number 5. This is the fifth factor that influences the price, right? Your profit. How much are you wanting to make? Now, you have to ask yourself this before you start promoting and marketing and talking about your products or services. Like, what is the amount that you want to make? What does that look like? So a lot of people's like, oh, I want to be a millionaire. Okay, so if you want to be a millionaire, what are you doing to get that $1 million? Are you showing up? Are you showing up for your people? Right? Are you doing things are you serving your people? Are you giving them things that they can take and use right away? Right? So if you have a product, okay, you have this product, is going to cost you how much to produce this product, and how much are you going to sell this product retail, right? How much is it going to cost for you to sell this particular product? I'm just saying. What is it going to take for you to sell this product? And you got to know that before you start marketing to your audience. So remember, your product, you want to know how much are you going to be making? How much are you going to be wanting to make from this pricing, right? Just think about that. How much are you going to want to make for your business, for the product or the service, whether it's a product-based or a service-based business? Uh-oh. So my next question is to you. I'm going to stop right there. These are the 5 factors that influence the price. And I'm only wanting to talk about this because a lot of times when we are starting our business, or we have a product, maybe you're an author, you just published a book, and your expectation is, I'm going to sell over 200 copies of my book, or I want to sell 1 million copies. How are you showing up? Are you happy with your book cover? I'm just going to ask that question. Like, are you happy with your book cover? Are you happy with the book cover? Right? So you have to ask yourself that. You have to ask yourself that. Am I happy with my book cover? Am I happy with the branding? Am I happy with the way things look for my business? You have to ask yourself that. So let's go through these tips, the 5 factors that influence the price in your business. Number 1 is going to be the cost of your products or services, right? You need to know the cost of the products and services before you start marketing to your friends, your family, whoever your ideal customer is, right? Number 2, you need to know your ideal customer and what their needs are. You got to know this. You got to know this up front. You must know this up front. Because what happens is, right, when people don't know this, when the buzz die down, you're so excited, you started a business, you're out here in the world, you're posting about your business, and nobody really knows much until, your friends and family, you share with the friends and family, but then you stop. You stop promoting, you stop serving your audience, and you disappear, right? Because you're frustrated because nothing is happening. It's crickets. And that's because you're not clear on who your customer audience is, your ideal customer. You're not clear on who they are and what their needs are. And then 2, you don't have a plan. You don't have a plan. So before you get disappointed, You have to really have a plan. And to do in that plan, it should be how you're going to position yourself in the marketplace. So that's number 3. Positioning your brand in the marketplace, right? Positioning your business so that people can see it all the time, show up all the time. You know, I've had people reach out to me and say, "Oh, I just show up maybe twice a week, maybe once a week." Well, what if you're expecting to make $1 million? You're only showing up once a week for your people. That's fine, but you got to do what the normal people don't want to do, and that may mean doing something that you don't like to, that doesn't feel good, right? You got to do it. So that's number 3, positioning yourself in the marketplace. The fourth factor is your competitors. Like, you got to know your competitors, know your competitor, what pricing, what type of ideal customers are they attracting with their pricing. So yesterday I talked about Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Nike. You know, their price is their price. Can't haggle their price, right? If the bag is $800 or a belt is $800, you're gonna pay for that belt at Louis or Gucci. If the purse is $2,000, you're gonna pay either the 2,000 when you get out the store, right? So you have to see what your competitors are charging and make sure that when you compare the pricing, just make sure that you're showing up, the value, you're providing value, and you're showing up, that you're delivering and you're saying exactly what you said you were going to do, right? And then the fifth factor that influences the price is profit. How much are you wanting to make? Like, you need to know this. How much money are you looking to make? How much money? Someone said, what are your answers to these 5 questions? If you don't mind me asking, I think a lot has to do with deal with demographics and culture, depending on what you're selling. Absolutely. That's why I said, who is your ideal client? First of all, you need to know who you're selling this product or service for, right? Who are you serving? Let me see who this is, because I can't see. Let's see. Hey, Raven. Hi. Okay, so hey, Jeff. Good morning. Good morning, Raven. Okay, so I can see you guys now. Okay, so the question. Let's go to what are your answers to these 5 questions? So, number 1, let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about question number 1. The 5 factors, the cost of products or services. So you have to know what your costs are for your products or services, right? Only you know that. So you should know, if you're selling a book and you say my book is $25 a book, right? The cost for me to print this book is going to cost me, maybe it costs you $3.50 to print this book, but you're going to sell it for $25. So now you have the cost, the expense to produce this product, right? That's the product. Your services, on the other hand, may be different. It may cost you, let's say someone charges $10,000 for them to consult with someone. They start at $10,000, right? Then you say, okay, these are my services. This is how much it's going to cost for me to consult with you. Now, if I'm delivering deliverables, then it's going to be extra. So, but only you know that, depending on what it is you're selling. And you're absolutely right, Jeff. The demographics does play a part. The culture, again, it doesn't matter what culture it is, right? Your price is your price. Gucci doesn't care about the culture. The culture they do care about is the culture that pays the bills, right? So whether you're white, black, green, purple, whatever color you are, right? That's why it's important to find out who your ideal customer is. That's number 2. Knowing your ideal customer and what their needs are. It doesn't matter if they're black. It doesn't matter if they're white. You need to find out if they have a job. So if they have an occupation where they can afford to pay for your product or services, that's why it's important to have customer avatars, so you know exactly how much they make, if they can afford your services, right? If they can't afford your services, guess what? Then that's not your ideal customer. It makes no sense for you to sell to somebody who doesn't have a job or a business that can afford your services. It just doesn't make sense. Number 3, positioning your brand in the marketplace. Now, excuse me, y'all. Turn the heater off, y'all. So if you don't have a brand, nobody knows you exist. You're just selling. You're just out here posting, selling. You're all over the place. Nobody really knows what you're doing. So again, positioning your brand in the marketplace is going to be so vital to being successful with your pricing. But before you position your brand and your business, you got to know who your ideal customers are. Trust me, like I use the Starbucks and the Dunkin' Donuts as an example. They've figured out who their ideal customers are based off of certain demographics, certain locations. As you know, Starbucks is always either in some type of shopping plaza or on a main strip or a main highway because they know that they get more traffic. People are on their way to work. People need that coffee and they need those coins from their ideal customers. And your competitors, you know your competitors. Who are they? Right? Some people may say, well, Stephanie, I don't have competitors. I don't look at people at, well, we all have competitors. Who is what is a brand that you look to? Right? You look at a brand. What brand is it that you look up to and you want to be there someday? Like research those brands, right? Research those brands and look how they price their products. Research how they're attracting their products. Like, so I'll give you an example. If you are in the skincare industry, right? You're in the skincare industry and people are let's say Nordstrom's, they're attracting these high-end clients, right? Dior, what is it? Dior, what's the other perfect Chanel, all of these skincare like lines, right? And Estee Lauder. But people, they're attracting those people and they're priced it, they've already priced it because they believe in that brand. So you have to go and look and say, okay, I want my brand to be like Dior. I want an eye serum that looks like Dior. Dior has a phenomenal eye serum, right? So you go and look at that and you say, okay, I have a skincare line, but I want mine to be kind of, not to look exactly like theirs, but I want it to have that same type of style and grace, if you will, right? I want that same type of style. I want it to look really elegant, right? So you want to look at your competitors as a point of reference, right? And see what they're doing to attract their ideal customers based off of their pricing, right? And then number 5, how much profit you want to make. Like, what's the profit? Profit is important. You have to understand what the profit is, how much you want to make. And again, that's why I said yesterday, are you clear on your pricing? Do you understand your pricing? You should know that. You should understand the pricing before you start selling. You got to know your ideal customer. You need to know the pricing, how much it's going to cost for you to produce this very thing. Because again, we're talking like truly understanding what it is that you're getting into. And I think a lot of times we look at other people, oh, I want to look like this brand and look like that brand, but you haven't even figured out like what factors influence the price. What is it that you're doing to influence the price? Like, what are you offering the people? So again, you should know the cost. You should know your ideal customer and what their needs are. Remember, you always want to provide a solution to their problem. People love coffee. So people go to Starbucks or they go to Dunkin' Donuts, whichever one is in their budget, right? People that go to Starbucks, maybe they go to Starbucks because they like the way the medicine ball tastes. People go to Dunkin' Donuts because maybe they like the way the blueberry donut tastes. I don't know. But what I do know is people have preferences and they go with those preferences and they stay there. They're loyal because of the experience. right? So again, same thing with Chick-fil-A. It's always their pleasure, right? So we have to be clear on the factors that influence the price. It starts in the planning phases. All of these factors that I listed today and mentioned, it starts with a plan. You got to have a plan for your pricing. You got to know that. And in order to do that, you got to be clear on some things. You got to know who your audience is. You have to know what their needs are. You also have to know that before I position and put my business out here, I need to know that people actually are going to need what I'm selling, because it makes no sense to sell or start go and buy and invest in this business and nobody wants what you're selling. They have no interest in it, right? So that's my tips for today. I want to give a shout out to my Facebook listeners, those that are in my I started my business now what group. Shout out to Jeff Short. Shout out to Velma. Good morning, Velma. Hey, Raven. Yes. Shout out to all of my book friends and family. And listen, remember, your price is your price, but more importantly, you need to put a plan together so that when you decide to put this plan for your pricing together for your business, you're clear on these 5 factors, right? The cost of your product or services, knowing your ideal customer and what their needs are, right? Number 3, positioning your brand in the marketplace, right? Being clear, knowing your competitors and their customers that they're attracting. So you need to know these. And the profit, how much are you wanting to make? So if you want to make $1 million this year, what does that look like? Are you doing $1 million worth of work? Are you putting in the work, the time and the effort to get there? How is that going to play out? You can ask yourself those questions. You can only answer those questions. I'm sorry. Ask yourself those questions like, how am I going to get this $1 million? What type of product or services am I going to provide for my audience? Right? Remember, everybody is not going to be your customer. Everybody's not going to be your customer. And you got to be okay with that. You got to be all right with that. Again, yesterday I said you got to be okay with no. No is good. No is good. I promise you, no is good. Everybody's not going to be your customer. But for those that are your customers, you have to make sure that you have you consider these 5 factors in your pricing. These 5 factors: the costs, knowing your ideal customer and their needs, positioning your brand in the marketplace, knowing your competitors and how they attract their customers with their pricing, and your profit. How much money are you wanting to make? Does that make sense? For those who are tuning in on the replay, hit hashtag replay, share with your friends. If this has been helpful to you today, let me know in the comments. I'm just simply here to help you all with um, getting your price together, because sometimes we underprice ourselves. We don't have enough confidence in ourselves that we can do or we can be great. We look at it and say, hey, um, I want to be a millionaire, but I don't think that I'm good. Nobody's gonna buy from me, right? Or why would they buy or pay for this price? Well, what is it that you have to offer them? People will buy as long as they know that it's something that they need. It's a value, right? That's what you have to ask yourself, and be all right with that, right? Be okay with that. Be okay knowing that my price is my price. This is my price. Can't haggle nobody. Same thing with asking people questions. You ask people questions. It's okay to ask a few questions too. But after 2, that's a consultation. It's a consultation. Like we got to start teaching people how to do business with us. You have to teach people how to do business with you. And that may mean that maybe your prices is not fit for their budget. It's okay. It's okay. But you got to get down first this thing. Understand. You're welcome, Jeff. Anytime. You got to understand this. When you're in business, your goal is for you to be successful. The goal is for you to serve others and have an impact in people's lives, right? Not to be like, oh, I hate this, I should have never done this. Because there's going to be times where you're going to question yourself, what am I doing? That's entrepreneurship 101, right? Some days are going to be up, some days you're going to be down. But it's worth it. It's worth it, right? I'm your girl, Stephanie A. Wynn. I want to thank you all for tuning in today. If you have any questions regarding these tips, the 5 factors that influence the price, leave me a comment. Again, if you're catching this on a replay, #replay. Be safe. Stay safe. Build your immune system. And love on yourself. Believe in yourself. Okay? Until next time, talk to you soon. Bye.